So you want to buy a home and you're being asked if you've been pre-approved or pre-qualified for a mortgage. But what's the difference between the two? Aren't they the same thing? Is it even necessary to get pre-approved or pre-qualified? And which is better? My name is Marco Cho, and we're going to cover the answers to those questions in this video. It doesn't matter where you're buying a home. Every seller and their agent is going to want to know if you have the financial means to buy their property. So it's important to know the difference between being pre-approved versus being pre-qualified, because it can mean the difference between having your offer accepted or being laughed out of a deal. So what does it mean to be pre-qualified? A mortgage pre-qualification is a rough estimate of how much money you can borrow to buy a home. Basically, it's a document from a lender stating that based on your current financial credentials, you'd likely qualify for a mortgage for a certain amount. Getting a pre-qualification letter can be as easy as calling a lender and answering a few simple questions about your income, the amount of assets that you have, and your credit. They might check your credit, they might not check your credit. And provided what you've told them sounds good, they'll issue you a pre-qualification letter. So what does it mean to be pre-approved? To be pre-approved for a mortgage involves much more of a process. You have to fill out a loan application, and everything that you state on the loan application will need to be verified. It's important to note though, on a pre-qualification, there is no application required. Now for a pre-approval, the lender will actually check your credit, and they'll also evaluate your debt to income ratio. And they'll also verify your income and your assets. In order for them to do this, you're going to need to turn in your proof of income, your W-2 forms, or your tax returns if you're self-employed, and bank statements and proof of other assets as well. And this information will then be submitted to an automated underwriting process, which will then produce a formal pre-approval document, and your lender will then be able to provide a pre-approval letter based on the automated approval. So what's the difference between the two? So the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification is like night and day. To keep it simple, a pre-qualification is essentially an estimate of an educated guess that you'd qualify for a certain amount. But with a pre-approval, you'll know how much you actually do qualify for. You'll know what kind of a loan program you'd be pre-approved for. You'll know how much of a down payment you'd be required to put. You'll know your interest rate, your monthly payment, and you'll know your closing costs. Getting a pre-approval is a more formal process because everything that you state on the loan application that you complete will have to be verified with documentation. And as we know, documentation beats conversation. Now, with that said, a pre-approval letter isn't a guarantee that you'll get the loan, but it's the closest thing that you can get. After you get pre-approved though, the lender will still have to get an appraisal, and they also might recheck your credit and see your bank statements again before final approval to make sure that everything is as it was during the time of pre-approval. Now, a few things that might keep somebody from getting financing after they've been pre-approved would be if you quit or you lose your job, or if you've misreported something on your loan application, or you lied pretty much, or if the home doesn't appraise for the minimum value required to qualify for the loan. And there are other things that could cost you the loan, which I cover in a video on what not to do before buying a house. So why get a pre-approval if it's not 100% guaranteed that you'll get the loan? Well, there are several reasons. One reason is you'll be able to plan your monthly budget for when you do buy because you'll know what your estimated monthly payment would be. Equally important, you'll know how much buying power you have. The worst thing that can happen is if you fall in love with a house, you make an offer on it, and then you find out that you're not qualified for the loan. Getting a pre-approval will prevent that from happening. Also, since your credit will need to be run for the pre-approval, you'll have the opportunity to fix any blemishes that are on your credit report that might keep you from getting the best terms for a loan, or that might keep you from qualifying for the loan altogether. If you have any stains on your credit, it might make more sense to take a few months to repair your credit before buying so you can get the best interest rate. Another crucial reason why you want to get pre-approved is because you'll be taken more seriously and viewed as a more motivated buyer in the eyes of a seller if you've been pre-approved compared to somebody who has just been pre-qualified. Okay, so think about this. Knowing what you know now, if you were selling your own home and you had two buyers, all things being equal, and you had one buyer with a pre-approval letter and another buyer with a pre-qualification letter, which offer would you accept? The answer is obvious. After wadding up the pre-qualification letter and throwing it in the trash bin, you're going to go with the buyer that's been pre-approved. Really, why would you want to roll the dice, take your home off the market for about 21 days, and open escrow with a buyer that might not be able to buy your house? You wouldn't, unless you're not all there. One more reason you want to get pre-approved is because it will be very hard to find a real estate agent to show you homes if you're financing and you don't have a pre-approval. Think about it. It doesn't make sense to show someone a home if you don't know if they're qualified to buy it. Not to mention, Sellers aren't going to want to have non-qualified buyers walking through and checking out their homes. It's a waste of time for the buyer, it's a waste of time for the agent, and it's a waste of time for the seller. So if you're not ready to buy, but you're thinking about it and you want to make sure that you're looking at the right amounts, get pre-qualified. A pre-qualification letter might be helpful if you're about a year out. But if you're ready to go, you'd be doing yourself and everybody involved a disservice if you didn't get pre-approved. Hey, if you like this video, you should check out the other videos that I've made on home buying tips. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. We will answer. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you hated the video, hit the thumbs down button. It's okay. If you disagree with anything that I said, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your feedback. We'll see you next time.